Hello everyone, welcome back to the Two-Line Pass. We're going to talk today about Ivan Demidov, the Montreal Canadiens' first selection in the first round, 5th overall in 2024. I got a lot of requests to do a Demidov video, even though he's not a US guy and I didn't really study him all year. I do know him because you check around, but I didn't study him like the other guys. But he was worth checking in on now and again because of the pure entertainment factor. So I assume there's all kinds of highlights out there because pretty much every shift is a highlight. I'm not a highlights guy, so I wasn't really sure what my angle was going to be. I wasn't going to just pop on a couple of his moves and go, hey, look, he's really, really good. Anyway, thanks for joining me, toodaloo. So I needed to think about what's the angle here, what's interesting me about this player. He's got skills, but skills don't always mean everything to me. For me, it's the creativity of his setup. The mental game is so deceptive and really creative, and it creates this relatively huge runway for him to use his elite skills to sort of take over the game easier, take over a shift easier. He creates skill efficiency on the regular. He makes it so that his next moves are more fully realized and productive, as opposed to some guys who make moves to nowhere, or because some guys who are just move makers and then they just see what happens. That's a little bit more technical, and Demidov is a little bit more mental. So let's just jump in. I don't have a lot of B-roll on him because every shift he creates something. So let's jump in. I'm inclined to do this shift by shift because I don't want a highlight tape on purpose. Face-off is mucky. Most players don't want to fool around with this because everyone is stopped and getting a poke past you might lose the win or create a problem. Demidov has already defeated this Russian Junior League in the previous year, so now he's just experimenting. Okay, let's check it out. Did we catch it all? Perfect skate to stick, stick handle to try to freeze, doesn't really bite, but 10-2 skating, then ducks under, slinks through the check, scan, skill chain on top of it, drops a dime into the slot. Let's look. 97 White has been in this league for 4 years. He has over 50 games in the minor pro league. I'm not saying it's an NHL guy by any means, but you're really not supposed to be able to do that against anyone, much less an experienced guy. Okay, so let's continue the shift. The shot is missed into the far corner, so we're done, right? Well, not so fast. I love this play, even though it's nothing and it doesn't work, and I assume I'm the only person that finds it interesting for those two reasons. I talk about 3 primary development arcs as opposed to 1. Physical, technical, and mental. This play here encapsulates all of them for me a little bit. There's the mental, it's pace control, there's deception. Then there's the physical, which is slipping your body into that spot and turning against pressure, meeting the technical, where you have the timing and the skill to pull that puck out of there and then skill chain it into a playmaking play. In this case, it's the pass to the slot that's well-intentioned that fails. It's nothing, but it's also why I love this player. All right, off the face-off, sort of lying in the weeds, and then the timing and the puck win, and he pops through. Again, he isn't the most powerful skater I've seen. He's not the fastest, but his timing, his agility, his ability to sort of disconnect the top half of his body from the bottom half, so to speak, to move independently, they're all really high-end. Sort of an example of it here. This is where it comes in handy. The top half, bottom half disconnect is in pass reception, because you can turn and take a pass and then explode off of that pass, or if you lack explosion, you turn it immediately into a puck protection maneuver. So it's turn, take, build a wall against the bigger player. In this case, I think it's poor number 97 again. If there's one thing that you can do to Demidov, it is take him down. But players get stronger, and in this case, he'll get even craftier, I suspect. He's a highly advanced everything involved in getting the puck and keeping it. He's years ahead of the game. He tries his pass across, but he gets mowed down. Whatever, big deal. So play's going to continue back the other way. We don't see Demidov for a little bit. Eventually, he's going to come back up the far side boards. He's not some defensive demon, but he does lie in the weeds and sort of pounce when he sees the timing is right. Kind of like Alexander Semin did. Semin got a bad rap for being whatever. There was more to his game than maybe having the best wrist shot I've ever seen. You can't see it, but Demidov goes up the ice like he's got to stretch the defense, and then he comes back like this is going to be a diagonal stretch pass through all this space that's here. And once again, he feeds the defense misinformation about his intentions and then acts on it. So then he beats them back up the ice again. They toss it up to him. And now there's a couple things that I need to talk about here. Let's just talk about the retrieval. Look at the pressure on his back and his side. He's left-handed. This is not going to work because he's going to lose it on the inside towards the pressure. But, well, wouldn't you know, he thought of that too. He never touches it to his forehand. Religiously, he resists the temptation to make a touch, allowing the puck to bounce across his body to his backhand. Makes a backhand-only catch. And then for those that watched the Michael Hayes video where I talked about what it means to get corner on the defenseman, this is what it means to get corner on the defenseman. His first touch on his forehand in the sequence is him flipping it against the grain over the goalie. It's unreal. You can talk about level of competition and all that. This isn't against one of those teams that won 4 games all year. This game is to advance to the championship. This team has 3 NHL draft picks on it that he's going against. And I know this league pretty well from dealing with it years ago. I know some of it's a little sideways. But this is special stuff at any level because of the execution and the thought. It's not exploitative dominance. These plays have applicable pro upside. Moving on to another game quickly. It's actually the team they play in the final. I just want to talk for a moment about his thoughtfulness, Demidov's thoughtfulness, and second shift of this game, we'll end up with another insane highlight pretty soon. So we saw the deft puck touch to facilitate an exit in the previous shift, but he's conscientious about getting the puck back, and it's because he's highly intelligent and he makes the game predictable for the next guy in line. Angles, forcing players into uncomfortable situations, making the game predictable for F2 are all part of F1's job. Sometimes you coaches out there, make sure you remind F1 that they didn't fail because they didn't get the puck when they're in this spot. That's only going to happen like 1 in 10,000 tries. But if you can force the puck towards your second layer of forecheckers and then come back through with back pressure, that's a big win, at least as far as I'm concerned. I can't see what's going on behind me, just like you, just like Demidov here. But what do I know? 49 red is going towards the margin of the rink on his backhand, and that's enough information for the next guy to operate on. So here comes Demidov to help out the second layer, and while they don't rescue it right there, they win a clean possession, especially if you're at a level that doesn't hit or you have a team that doesn't hit. Show them that. The concept is very scalable. Anyway, so we'll go through another dump retrieve cycle here. Demidov applies some well-timed pressure on the D-man. He's so good at identifying pressure points and weakness of a play, it's uncanny. Once again, the puck is regurgitated back to Demidov's club, and now here's where we might not be able to replicate this at the level you're coaching at. So again, let's look at the pass reception. Look at how far off his center line he is. We have automatic puck protection mechanism in that. We have a clean burst across the line. So we didn't really give up too much to our opponent. So we have time to scan because no one is right on top of us. Again, advantage Demidov. It's bonus because his skill efficiency buys the little milliseconds from the weaker players, and then he weaponizes that time against them. Now, it's 1.5 against 3. So rightfully, nothing will happen here. But let's make the best of it. We have a back pass option that could be something. We have pushing it up the ice and then turning off the pressure to find second or third wave offense. And then we have mystery box. So let's see. The look to the back pass was read by number 3, junior veteran here. In most cases, 3 looks like a genius. But Demidov realizes that that option is now closed. In a previous video, we talked about turning toes and attacking heels being the key to deceptive maneuvering. As player 49 attempts to close in on a now gliding Demidov with dwindling options, Demidov sees the opportunity and strikes. I mean, this is David Attenborough nature stuff. Like, this is a chess match. He puts the puck through 49's triangle. This destabilizes 49's weight, and Demidov uses the opportunity to throw the puck on his hip for protection and then get corner on through 49 at a tough angle. And while he's around the net, he might as well flip it over the goalie to score a goal like it's no big deal. It's unbelievable stuff. I never saw anything that suggested to me that Demidov wasn't the number 2 talent in this draft, or even better said, he was closer to number 1 than he was number 5 for me, certainly. Invariably, especially Montreal fans are going to ask, who's the better prospect, Demidov or Michkov, Matvei Michkov, of Philadelphia. Obviously, I think they're both high-end prospects. They go about their business in different ways. I'll click on a Michkov segment here in just a second, just a random clip. Michkov's a better shooter. But I think Demidov is a much better playmaker. Michkov is probably more likely to dive bomb in and try to get a puck back himself, while Demidov is more likely to tactically set up a turnover to a teammate. It's close because it depends on what you value. But when in doubt, all else being equal, give me the more thoughtful and creative problem solver, and that's Demidov for my taste. So that's all we got. I'll cut it short here. Demidov is a fascinating player, as you can see, with enormous upside. And I look forward to Montreal finally having a superstar player for the first time in a while. So that's all we got for the two-line pass. Until next time, thanks so much.